Welcome to League Landry for 2024. I'm proposing quite a few changes that will make this year the most exciting and the most easy to manage year possible. Let's get right into the changes. The draft time is Sunday, September 1st at 5 p.m. LSU plays at 6:30 that night, but we should finish in plenty of time for kickoff. Please mark your calendars. Here are all the changes. You can pause the video to review them, but I'll review each one in detail later in the video. We're increasing the number of payout places to the top 4 finishers. To put up with me being a dictator, I'll add $100 for my winnings last year in Doogie's League to increase each payout. Final payouts are shown for all possible league sizes. Please invite others to join. Backed by popular demand, Apex Scoring, where we have an extra game versus the median each week. I thought about trying something different, but this really is the best way to determine the most deserving playoff teams. Plus, it's more fun. We'll increase the number of playoff teams to 6 to give more people a chance to win, which necessitates moving the start of the playoffs to week 15. Let's look at the minor scoring changes. Did you hear about the new kickoff rules? Kickoffs will look totally different this year. An article I read made the case that kickoff return yards are just as valuable as other yards, and so should be counted for fantasy points. And they recommended 1 point for every 50 kickoff return yards. So I figured we would try that this year. To make it consistent, we'll apply this to punt returns as well. If you want to see a brief video on the new rules, click the link in the video description. With the new defensive scoring system we used last year, defenses on average scored a little lower than the standard scoring model. To raise scoring a bit, we'll add 1/4 of a point for each forced punt. We're making a few changes to quarterbacks to make their scoring better reflect the quality of their play and to make more of them fantasy relevant, like adding 1/5 of a point for each passing first down and increasing the passing touchdown bonus to 6 points. The interception penalty remains unchanged at -2 points per interception. Finally, research has shown that quarterbacks and not their offensive line bear more responsibility for taking sacks. So this year, quarterbacks will lose 1 point each time they're sacked. Let's look at some scoring examples. Let's say the defense tackles a player for a loss and forces a punt, so it ends up being a 3-and-out drive. Here are the points the defense would get for each play. In total, the defense would score 1 point for this sequence of plays. Here's another scoring example where the special team returns a kickoff for 17 yards. This return would net them 0.34 points. The major scoring change this year is moving from 1/2 point per reception to 1/2 point per first down, plus tiered PPR. This hybrid scoring model should lead to higher scores based on impactful plays. Let's look at each of these components. 1/2 point per first down. A lot of leagues are moving to point per first down scoring because it rewards players for impactful plays that extend drives. 1/2 point per first down is as simple as it sounds. Each player who rushes for a first down or who catches a first down pass will earn a 1/2 point bonus. Players who make a lot of first downs are valuable in this scoring scheme. Let's look at a scoring example. A player runs 2 yards and makes a first down. He gets points for the yards plus a 1/2 point bonus for the first down, so he ends up with 0.7 points for the play. The player here could be a quarterback or any other player, not just a running back. Tiered PPR. In past years, we've used half PPR where a player receives a 1/2 point bonus for each reception, no matter how short or long the pass play is. A pass play could even go for negative yards, and the player would still get a half-point bonus, which doesn't make sense. We're moving to tiered PPR. With tiered PPR, the longer the pass play, the bigger the bonus. Short receptions of 0 to 4 yards get an eighth of a point bonus. The longest receptions, 40 yards or longer, get a 1.25 point bonus. Other bonuses are listed on the chart. So to recap, we will use tiered PPR in combination with half point per first down to make our own hybrid scoring system. It should lead to higher scoring based on impactful plays. I think you'll end up liking this move. Let's look at another scoring example. A running back or a wide receiver catches a pass and the play goes for 32 yards and a first down. The player would get points for the yards, a half-point bonus for the first down, and a 1-point bonus because the play is between 30 and 39 yards. The player would end up with 4.7 points total for the play. Note that if the receiver were a tight end, he'd get an extra half-point bonus since we're tight end premium. Also note that the quarterback will get points for the first down pass and for passing yards. The other major scoring change is moving from having to set starters and bench players each week to best ball. Let's see how this works. In best ball scoring, you do not have to decide which players to start and which players to bench. Instead, the highest scoring players on your team are automatically counted as your starters for that week. To take advantage of this format, you might want to roster at least one backup at each position. Finally, best ball scoring will not affect how we add or drop players. We will still have waiver claims using a virtual budget of $100, and we'll still be able to pick up free agents and trade players. Let's look at an example. In this example, you set your starters and some of them get scratched or hurt or simply underperform, and many of them get outscored by your bench. I'm sure something like this has happened to you in the past. Not anymore. In best ball, you simply have a team. No starters or bench. As the games are played, your starting lineup will update in real time to reflect the highest scoring players at each position. Here, Goff outscores Murray, so he becomes your starter. Same with your top 2 scoring running backs, your top 2 scoring receivers, your top scoring tight end if you have 2 of them, your top 2 flex spots, and your top defense if you have 2 of them. To see how best ball could work to your advantage, let's say that both of your defenses did poorly, and it's looking like you'll lose your weekly matchup by just a few points. It's doubtful that your Monday night player Pitts will score enough to help you pull out the victory. What you could do is drop Pitts and pick up another player or a defense, maybe Seattle. And if Seattle does well, they might end up as your starter and help you win your matchup. You may not want to do that, but keep in mind that it's an option if you're in desperate need of a win. And just a quick note on best ball strategy. In addition to having more than one player at each position, you may want to employ a strategy called stacking, where you roster quarterbacks and pass catchers from the same teams, as I've highlighted. The theory being that if a pass catcher has a good game, it's likely the quarterback did as well, and vice versa. Something to think about. To recap, in best ball scoring, you don't have to keep track of last-minute injuries or make decisions about whom to start. Just sit back and enjoy the games. If a player gets a 0 or has a bad game, not all is lost, because your other players will make up for poor performances. Best ball is arguably fairer, and it's a more appropriate scoring model for casual family leagues, like our league, a casual family league with YouTube PowerPoints every year to explain rules changes. We will draft using third round reversal again, which means the first 2 rounds snake back and forth as usual. But the third round will reverse, so that the manager picking first in the second round will also pick first in the third round. The draft will snake back and forth as expected from that point. We will use a pretty cool website, 100yardrush.com, to kind of randomize the draft order. The only thing I need from you is where you'd prefer to draft from. I'll send a text to each of you asking if you'd like to draft from the beginning of the first round, the middle of the first round, or the end of the first round. If I don't hear from you, you'll likely end up drafting in the middle of the first round. If you have any questions or if you think I overlooked something, please let me know. Thank you for listening. Good luck this season, and have a great day.